Hey, this is Russ. First thing I want to say is thank you to all the people who purchased their Rad power bikes using my referral link that I put in the description of all my videos, including this one. And I know that you did it because when you get a $50 discount, I get $50 for it too. And so many people have done it that I've actually accumulated enough money to actually get a bike for my wife. Now, I mentioned this once before, but I figured if you didn't see that video, I wanted to say it again. Now, this brings me directly into the Rad Expand 5 bikes, because I know a lot of you may have purchased that bike based on a video that I made when the bike first came out. Now, a couple things have gone on since that time, and some people have caught it and sent comments on my other video saying that, you know, this $1,299 bike, every time I go to the website, it's $1,499. What gives? All right. That was the same question I had when I saw the price went from $1,299 to $1,499. So I think a lot of the videos that you may have seen on YouTube were probably from other YouTubers who talked about it at the same time that I did when we first made that first video. And at that time, that bike was $1,299. But it is now $1,499. So when it was at $1,299, I mentioned that I thought that this was a pretty good deal for the bike. And it was for $1,299. But now that it's $1,499, and that only happened a couple of weeks after that price, it must have been an introductory price or something, because, yeah, you have to pay $1,499 for this bike now. So is it still a good deal or not? Let's talk a little bit about that, okay? Because it's kind of gotten to me through you telling me that this price has gone up. Yeah, all prices go up, but, you know, why did it go up so quickly? So let's discuss that, all right? So I think it went up because I think the $1,299 was probably an introductory price. You know, the product had just come out. They put it at $1,299 probably to get people interested in the bike, and then they brought it back to the price that they really want to sell it at, which is $1,499. Now, people have mentioned before that $1,499 was the price of the Rad mini bikes, okay? And for those who aren't familiar with the product, it essentially is like a Rad Expand 5 bike, but it has a front suspension and it had an LCD display screen on the front of the bike, okay? You don't get that on the Rad Expand 5. Now, you could get the LCD screen. It's a $100 option. So now this bike, which is now $1,499, would become $1,599, all right? Which makes it more expensive than the Rad Expand, the Rad Mini, okay? So why did they do this? Well, we can only guess, but here's my theory behind it, and you can tell me in the comments if you believe I'm correct or not. I call this product shrinkage, all right? I don't know if this is the proper term for things or not, but let me give you an example, okay? Think back when you used to buy ice cream, okay? Ice cream used to be sold in half-gallon containers. You don't get half-gallon containers now. I mean, maybe somebody sells it that way, but most of them are not. They're 48 fluid ounces. What is 48 fluid ounces? 1.5 quarts, okay? That's not a half a gallon, okay? But why did they do this? It's because they want the price to be the same. Let's say you buy, I don't know how much ice cream is nowadays. Let's say $3 for a container. So 1.5 quarts or 48 fluid ounces, whichever way you want to look at it, is not a half a gallon, but it's $3, let's say. Back in the day, your half-gallon ice cream might have been $3. So why did they do it this way? Well, you feel like you're not paying more money for something, but you're actually getting less for that same amount of money. Does that make sense? I think that's really what's happening here with this Rad Expand 5 bicycle. Now at $1,499, am I getting the same as I did when I had the Rad Minis? No, you're not. You're getting a little bit less. Okay, now they did do something that's a little different. They are giving you a free rear rack. Now, if you were to buy a rear rack for the Rad Mini, it's about, I think, $79, okay? So you could argue the fact that, you know, to get that bike to have a rear rack to match the Expand 5, it's not $1,499, it's $1,499 plus $79, okay? But think about it this way, you know, that Rad Mini had a display screen, which would cost $100 on the Expand 5, and it had a front suspension fork, which is not an option on the Rad Expand 5. So people have asked me, is this as good of a bike as you said it was based on the $1,499 price? Well, if you do a direct comparison to the Rad Mini, I would say no. I would tend to think that the Rad Mini is a better deal. So didn't you just say on another video that the Expand 5 was a good deal? Yes, at $12.99, I felt it was a good deal because not everybody needs a display screen and not everybody needs the front suspension fork. And then if you look at it that way, $12.99 including a rear rack, it was a pretty good deal. All right. So if you were lucky enough to be able to jump in and get that bike at $12.99, it was a good deal. So is it not a good deal today? I would have to say at $14.99, the Rad Expand 5 is a good deal. Now, you might look at that and say, how could you say that? Okay, because there is no other Rad bike at $14.99 that is a foldable bike that you can buy. So based on that, is this bike a good deal? And the answer would be yes, based on what's currently available to you from Rad. Okay. Now, if you were lucky enough to get the Rad Mini for $14.99, the Rad Expand 5 at $14.99 would not be a good deal. The Rad Mini would be a better deal. You have a step-through version, and you had a step-over version, okay? Here's the thing for me. Now, I mentioned earlier in the video to thank you guys for using the referral codes, or I should stop saying code because it really isn't a code. It's a referral link, okay? When you go on that link, it applies the code for you. You get the $50 discount when you order your bikes, okay? So what I'm trying to say is because so many people use that link to get their bikes, it gave me enough money to actually get a bike for my wife with the referral money that's given to me from Rad. It's a credit, essentially. Now, we didn't hit the full amount, but we had enough of it saved up that we were able to buy her a Rad Mini Step Through 2. We paid some additional money. We didn't have the full amount, but we paid some into it. But it was able to help us get that bike. Now, when I told my wife that the Expand 5, which is what I had intended to actually get for her at $12.99, okay, I told her it didn't have a front suspension fork, and she said, "I want the suspension fork." Right? She didn't care that the Rad Mini is being discontinued. She says, "If I can get the Rad Mini, I want the Rad Mini." So we got her the Rad Mini because an email came out from Rad that said that if you don't order your bike soon, you might not be able to get a Rad Mini because they're running out and they're not replacing them because it's essentially going to be sold out. So we placed our order just before it sold out. A couple days after we placed it, the product sold out. Okay, so we're still waiting for this to be shipped. I think they said that our ship date should be April 4th, which would be, what is that, Monday? Tomorrow? I don't know whether they will truly be able to ship it out tomorrow or not, but that's their target date. Sooner or later it'll get shipped out to us. So we're fine with that. So the whole point is this, all right? Product shrinkage. Why did they do this to the Rad Mini? Just like ice cream, I believe they did it because they needed to keep a $14.99 price point and still make profit on these bikes. And the only way to do that is to take parts off of the bike, keep the $14.99 price, and then Rad stays in business, all right? So you might be disappointed about that, but I have a theory that eventually I think there might be a plus version of the Rad Expand 5. So if you know anything about the Rad bikes, there's things like, what do they call it? The Rad Runner 2. There's a Rad Runner 2, and then there's a Rad Runner Plus, I believe, okay? Now, if you look at these two bikes, the Plus has extra features on it that the Rad Runner 2 does not, all right? Price goes up a little bit. I think they're going to do a similar thing with the Rad Expand 5. That's my guess. All right, don't hold me to it if they don't do it, but this is my theory behind this, okay? I'm thinking they came out with this $14.99 bike that fits the price point, but there's going to be people who are going to complain and say, look, that's the only foldable bike that you have. Now we don't have any suspension fork, whatever. I'm thinking if we wait a little bit, we might actually see that they might come out with a little bit more expensive version of this foldable bike and give it the Plus title. Okay, they've done this with several other models before. Like my Rad Rover 5 became the Rad Rover 6 Plus. Okay, it added things like hydraulic brakes and other features, an integrated battery into it and all that. So, and it went up in price. I paid $16.99 for my bike, and now the Radrover 6 Plus is like $19.99. So it went up $300. I don't know what they would do for the foldable bikes. Would this go up a $300 price point? Or will it go up maybe $200, $250 price point? Whatever. I think we will see an upgraded version of the Expand 5 eventually. Yeah, I mean, maybe it could take them a year. I have no idea how long it would happen, but I think what will happen will be similar. I think what will happen is they'll have this $14.99 price point, then they'll have maybe one that's $200 or $300 more, and it'll be a plus version that has maybe a suspension fork or some other advanced features, maybe adding hydraulic brakes to it. Who knows? Whatever they decide they want to do to this bike, they may actually do it, and it'll be under the branding of Expand instead of Mini, okay? This is just guess, okay? This is no fact that I'm telling you. I'm just saying this is my guess is what's going to happen. Now, those who have bought the Expand 5, will you be disappointed in your bike? No, I don't think so. It's really the same thing as the Minis. It just doesn't have the front suspension, and it doesn't have the display screen. But you could add the display screen for $100 more. So let's say this new Plus version, they're going to add a display screen. They're going to add a front fork suspension. They're going to give it the Expand name and not having to just look like they raised the price of the Mini. That's my guess, okay? It gets a new badge under the Expand name and then gets a plus thing to it, maybe. And maybe they'll add something like hydraulic brakes or something like that. Who knows? We'll see what they do. But that's my guess, okay? Anyways, again, thank you so much for buying your bikes, getting me credit so I can get a bike for my wife. Let's see if I'm right. All right. If you like this video, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Hit the hit all those buttons. Okay. The subscribe button. I know a lot of you guys that watch Russ is Right are not subscribers because I can see the statistics, and I would say the vast majority of you are not subscribers to Russ is Right. Do me a favor, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I mean, it doesn't cost you anything. It doesn't do anything to you. But it really makes a difference for the channel because it allows more people to see my videos, because YouTube tends to push it a little bit more because they said this is a higher subscribership. All right, and we're over 2,250 subscribers, I believe, at this point. Let's bring us to 3,000 really quickly. Let's see where we get with that, and then eventually we'll get further and further. And I've noticed that once the subscribership goes up, the view counts go up because it gets pushed out there. So more people will see Russ is Right if you do me the favor and hit the like button and hit the subscribe button. Okay, the subscribe button is actually very important besides the like, but the like will also push it. So do both, all right? Do me the favor. Anyways, I will talk to you guys next time.